I am spending 1 hour each day for a year in a new Minecraft survival world. For the next 365 days, I will be embarking on an epic journey to consistently play in the same Minecraft world, all with the goal to become a better builder, redstoner, and technical player. Join me in my 1-year Minecraft survival world. Each part of this series will cover 10 days within the survival world. If you've seen my daily shorts already, don't worry because this will cover more content each day not seen in the shorts. Let's get started. Day 1, I spawned right in the middle of a jungle. This was actually pretty helpful because it allowed me to be able to have a replenishable food source right off the start. Watermelons grow wild here, so I could collect those to keep my hunger up until I had a better food source. My next goal was to get enough wood to make a wooden pickaxe, axe, and sword. I chopped enough wood for the axe to break and then quickly went into a cave where I was able to upgrade my tools to stone. After this, I ran off into the distance where I found a place for me to settle down for the time being. A spot with a beautiful mountain in the back. I thought this would be perfect to put my starter base. So I went into a nearby cave to grab some more cobblestone for my build, and this time I also found some coal, which was helpful. Before the sun set, I started to get a foundation down for my house, then took shelter in a cave for the night. I figured this would be a perfect time to get some mining done since I had nothing better to do. In this time, I really didn't find much, just some coal and copper. Eventually the sun came back up and I spent some more time working on my new starter house. There was a lot of building up and tearing down, but with some trial and error, I started to see my vision coming true. I tried to get a roof on, but it really looks terrible. I would consider myself a beginner builder, so a lot of my technique is pretty bad, which right now is very apparent. Like, what the heck is this? At least from the front, it looks good. I started to decorate the inside, putting in glass, chests, a bed, and anything you really need in a starter house. I finished off the first hour by putting a little wheat farm in my backyard. I don't really have a great replenishable food source right now. Watermelons are great, but they provide very few hunger bars and don't last for very long. So getting some wheat started won't be a bad idea. So as the sun started to come back up, that concluded hour 1 of the world. For 1 hour in, we actually got a lot done. We have a house and supplies to get us started in the world. I started off the beginning of day 2 fixing the roof of my house. Now, this is gonna sound crazy, but I spent my day at work trying to visualize how I could make the roof look better. And my conclusion was to add a slope to the side of the house and then bring the peak to the middle. And it's looking way better than it did yesterday. I next made my way back in the caves hoping to find some iron. Once again, I mostly found coal, but I did find a few iron pieces. While mining though, I did find a zombie spawner that I think I'm going to use later as an XP grinder. And as a bonus, it is super close to the house, maybe 100 blocks away at the most. I wanted to go off and find some cows to start making a cow pen, so I decided to go up this mountain as a vantage point. But instead what I found was even better. I found the jackpot of coal and iron. There was enough iron up here for me to make a full set of iron gear and then some. Like, I'm not even kidding, I got multiple stacks of iron. And there were some emeralds up here too, which was pretty nice. I spent the last 10 minutes or so of my hour clearing out some space that I wanted to use to build a cow pen. I extended out the grass area next to my house to make way for that, and that was the end of day 2. At the start of day 3, I was ready to build a cow pen in the area I was clearing out. Now, cows are going to be super helpful because they provide great early game food and will also be a perfect source for me to get leather, which I can use for an enchanting setup. So getting that started as soon as possible is vital to my success. I had an idea in mind for this build. I wanted to use a variety of cobblestone and andesite blocks to build up a wall that would house the cows. So I went up to the top of a mountain thinking I would find some andesite there. No luck. So after about 10 minutes of looking, I gave up on that for now and started on my cow pen. I used cobblestone blocks, slabs, stairs, and walls in a free-form type of shape in order to house the cows. Using different blocks and adding different heights to the walls really helps this build pop in my opinion. It looks pretty nice. Since the pen was built and ready to house some cows, I went off to go find a few to bring back. Instead, what I found was even better. Right next to my house and in a little ravine, I found a close to surface level skeleton spawner, and it had some amazing loot. An enchanted golden apple as well as a saddle I can use for a horse. Now that I found this spawner, I think I'll be using this as a grinder instead of the zombie spawner, since skeletons drop more valuable loot for the most part. After that, I went off and found some cows to bring back to the pen. I decided that I really wanted to have a wall around my base in the same style as the cow pen, so I cleared a bit more area to make way for that, and then got working on the wall. And hey, from the top of this hill, this base is looking amazing. I'm proud of what I was able to come up with. The last few minutes of day 3, I went and grabbed some water from a pond and finished off my hour. While thinking about what I had done with my base at the beginning of day 4, I realized the wheat farm behind my house doesn't really fit the style of my build whatsoever. So I tore it down and decided to bring the farm inside the walls of my house. I started by making a rock that had fresh water coming out from it, which filled up a small pond that served as the source of water for my wheat farm. I tilled the land and put a cobblestone wall up to separate the farm from the rest of my base. I think that once everything has grown in, this will look awesome. Next, I decided to do a bit of of mining. During my mining trip, I didn't find much other than some coal and iron, but I did get a few pieces of lapis, redstone, and a few pieces of gold. I actually found another skeleton spawner, but it had no loot and is pretty far from my base, so it's gonna be useless to me right now. Mining took up a whole chunk of the day since I got stuck in a scary cave, but I eventually made my way out. After this, I realized I would probably need a proper mining outpost for myself near my house, so I started digging into a mountain right next to my base to get started on that. For now, it's just a square room with some wood and furnaces, but I plan to work on it more tomorrow to make it look real nice. Day 5, I decided it was time to go on a bit of an adventure. I wanted to gather some spruce wood so I could make the inside of my mine shaft look really nice, so I set off in a random direction in hopes of coming across a biome with spruce wood. I ran off pretty far and found nothing of the sort. No spruce wood to be found, but I did find this ruined nether portal and got some bonus gold from it. But after about 20 minutes of running, I decided to turn back towards the base and made a pit stop in the savannah to gather acacia wood to use instead. I went back to the mining outpost and put in acacia ceilings and stone brick floors. I actually don't mind how it looks with the orange. Not ideal, but it's not too bad either. I put in a whole bunch of chests on either side of the mine shaft in order to store all things you can get from mining, and then I also put some item frames to label them. I figured it would be smart to store things like excess stone, andesite, diorite, granite, deep slate, and things like that in here in case I need them for builds down the line. The rest of day 5, I did some decorating for the inside of my base's walls. I went off into the jungle and got some bamboo as a decoration block. I added a ton of decorations inside of here and everything is looking way more complete. I finished off the hour by digging out some area that I could use to bring pathways all around my base. Hey, if you've made it this far into the video, don't forget to drop a sub. I've been working really hard the past few months putting out daily shorts and also long-form content as often as I can. My goal for the end of the year is to hit 2,000 subscribers, and we're already over halfway there. So if you enjoy the content, it would mean a lot if you showed your support. And also, I've been streaming on Twitch playing various games. Come hang out there. Anyways, the first half of day 6, I ended up mining in the new mining outpost. I made a 2x2 stairwell that went pretty far down. This took up a lot of time because as I was mining down, I was also adding stairs in to make it easier for me to go up and down. I didn't get all the way down to diamond mining level yet because I didn't want to spend the entire hour down here in the mine. So around half an hour in, I made my way back to the surface and made some quality of life improvements to my house. I mixed in some coarse dirt with the regular dirt inside of the cow farm for aesthetics, and then I got to making a path for my house over to the cow pen. I mixed normal path blocks with coarse dirt and gravel, and I like the way it looks. I added some gravel underneath the stone walls by my wheat farm as well. This is such a small change, but I feel like it makes all the difference in making things look good. Next, I started a tiny sugarcane farm and then did a little terraforming leading towards my mine shaft. I did this so I can eventually make a path towards there. I extended the pathway to my cow farm to go in between it and my house to add a path leading to the back. And that concludes day 6. We are now 1 week into this survival world and I have yet to find any diamonds whatsoever. So I made it my goal to find at least 1 diamond by the end of the day. I set off to my mine shaft and got to digging. To my surprise, in the first 3 minutes I found diamonds. It was only 2, but I kept going. I dug all the way down to Y level -58 where I decided to start mining straight. This is where Google told me to mine, so I'm trusting it. If anyone knows a better level to mine, let me know in the comments. I ended up mining until I broke 4 iron pickaxes, and unfortunately I had no luck finding any more diamonds. It is a little sad that I only found 2, but I did hit my goal of finding at least 1 today. So after that, I went back up to do some work around my house. I wanted to expand the area within my wall so I could fit a horse stable inside. So I flattened out some area to make a little bit more space for that. After a bit, I got the area flattened out, but I wasn't really ready to build the horse stable yet. So I decided to do a little more decorating to my house. I added a back gate to my wall and a pathway leading to it. I think that this gate is both functional and looks really cute. For 1 week in this world, I'm loving how it is coming out. I feel like I'm doing well putting together a nice looking starter base. Throughout the year, I will slowly be working on it. I hope by the end of the 365 days, this world is filled with builds and really cool progress. Day 8 was mostly dedicated to building the horse stable that I cleared the area out for yesterday. I started by tearing the wall next to my house down in order to make some room to fit the stable in. I next started to put the foundation in. The build is quite simple. I made a sort of L shape having a 3-ish block gap in between each wood post. The stable sort of fuses in with my wall, which I feel helps it fit organically into the rest of the overall theme. I built up a few blocks and started to put on a roof. The roof has 2 layers, a regular roof and then a sort of spire that goes a bit higher at the top. I wanted to add something eye-catching to my starter area, and I think that the height of this stable does that really well. It does look a little silly, but I think it's charming. Maybe down the line I'll fix it, but for now this is good. There is nothing more satisfying than creating a build pretty much off the top of my head. Sure, I have my builder inspirations that help me develop my style, but I let myself go building the stables, and I love what I've come up with. All I did for the rest of day 8 was clear out some more space near the house, and then finally completed the wall around the base. From the top of this hill here, everything is coming together. Day 9, I did a lot of building and terraforming to my base. The first thing on my day 9 to-do list was to clear out some more area and do some terraforming so I could add a chicken pen to my starter base. Chickens aren't exactly going to be very useful to me since I already have a better food source and I have the nearby skeleton spawner, so I won't ever need feathers for arrows. But I think that adding a chicken pen to my base will really help bring everything to life. So after I spent a long time terraforming, I started making the chicken pen. It uses a similar style to my walls, just being a little extension out from one of the sides. I added a small water source off in one corner and then made a cute chicken coop to add to the aesthetics of the area. So next I went off to bring chickens back, completing this build for now. The terraforming and building of the chicken area took up a long time to do, so I was almost done with my hour already. But I realized that I built a horse stable yesterday and I don't have a horse to live in it yet. Luckily, a few days back I found a saddle at the skeleton spawner, so I went out and tamed a horse. I haven't given them a name yet, so leave a comment with a name and I'll choose one I like to call the horse. But that was the end of day 9. The last day I'm covering in this video is day 10. I wanted to gather carrots and potatoes so I could add another crop farm to my base. I figured the best way to do that was to go out and try and find a village, since they typically had farms with those crops. So I took our new horse out on an adventure and we rode off into the distance. After a 20-minute journey, I found 2 villages. Somehow, neither of them had any carrots or potatoes, which was pretty insane. So I trapped the villagers in their houses for safety and went back home to restock on supplies. I wasn't done yet though. I set off in the opposite direction and eventually found another village. Thankfully this time they did have carrots and potatoes, so mission accomplished. I went back home and made the crop area for our 2 new crops. Once again, this was an extension of the wall, coming out a bit lower than the rest of them. On the inside, there was more than enough space to add the crops in, but that concluded day 10. 10 days into this world and things are looking honestly amazing. I love the way that everything is coming together. Just seeing the progress this quick was awesome to see. I recommend that everyone watching this video start up a new world and do the same with me. Limiting your playtime to an hour a day prevents burnout and lets you really see the progress of your world over time. I'm excited to see what the rest of this world has to offer me. But that's it. Those are the first 10 days of this survival world. If you want to see more progress early, check out my daily shorts on the series. Each short covers a new day in this world, and those come out before the longer recap video every 10 days. If you enjoyed, drop a sub, leave a like, and comment. Let me know if you have any suggestions on what else to do in this world or how I can make the videos better. It means a lot. I'm Pajama John, and I'll see you guys next time.